night.
Somewhere out there, someone saying a prayer that we'll find one another in that big somewhere out there. And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on the same bright star.
And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, then we'll be together somewhere out there, out where dreams come true.
And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on the same bright star.
And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, then we'll be together somewhere out there, out where dreams
Somewhere out there, someone saying a prayer that we'll find one another in that big somewhere out there. And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on the same bright star.
And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, then we'll be together somewhere out there. Our dreams come true.
And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on the same bright star.
And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through.
If everyone will remain standing for the Lord's Prayer and then the national anthem. Our Father, in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Please be seated. Class of 1988, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present Mr. John D. White, Jr., President of the Spartanburg Day School.
Good morning and welcome. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and our faculty, it's my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to this graduation ceremony. We join you, your parents, and friends in your celebration of this landmark event. I extend my congratulations to each of you in the accomplishments that you've achieved while here at Spartanburg Day School. This day is a significant day and a benchmark in your life, not only from an academic standpoint, but as you enter adulthood. As you leave Spartanburg Day School, we extend our best wishes to you in your future endeavors. There's one thing I'd like you to remember, and probably when you finish this commencement exercise and others that you'll have in your life, remember this. Remember that you're the future, and you're our new leaders, not only from our community, but throughout our country. Set your goals high. Be committed and dedicated to achieving those goals, and make this a better community and make it a better America. My congratulations to you.
Mr. Jim Skinner, President of the Class of 1988, will present the senior gift. Mr. Skinner.
As the senior gift, the Class of 1988 is proud to establish an endowed scholarship, which will be named the Class of 1988 Memorial Scholarship. From the accumulated endowed funds that members of the class will continue to contribute throughout the years, the interest will be used to assist in funding the day school education of a rising senior who demonstrates both academic merit and financial need as determined by the school's administration.
Dr. Olin V. Sansbury represents the Spartanburg County Foundation this morning. Dr. Sansbury.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. First of all, let me say that I'm extremely pleased to have the opportunity to participate in today's ceremonies. I know that they're a very happy occasion for those of you who are graduating, and certainly for your families. I also would like to congratulate this class for your gift. As an educator, I recognize the importance of this kind of support for education, and I think it is extremely significant that you, at this early age, would recognize how important it is to help others achieve their educational goals. I'm also very pleased to be representing here today the Spartanburg County Foundation. The Spartanburg County Foundation has been in operation for about 35 years, attempting to work with this community in meeting a variety of very critical needs. In 1987, the Spartanburg County Foundation provided over $180,000 in grants and scholarships for education. So certainly education is one of the high priorities for the Spartanburg County Foundation. So I'm very pleased to be participating today in these ceremonies and in presenting the Valedictorian Award on behalf of the trustees of the Spartanburg County Foundation to Mr. Robert Allen Scott.
The Phi Beta Kappa Award is the highest academic award which we in the Phi Beta Kappa Society bestow. The award always goes to our valedictorian, the best scholar we can produce. The young man who receives this award this morning is uniquely talented intellectual. The Spartanburg Day School chapter of the Cum Laude Society, the oldest in South Carolina, elected him to membership as a junior. By finishing at the top of his class as a junior, he spent the Wofford winter term in Europe as a guest of the Rommel Foundation. He won the Ergel History Award as a junior, and last evening he received the Palmer Science Award. He will attend the University of Alabama as a presidential scholar. It is my pleasure to present the Phi Beta Kappa Award, and I'd like to ask Dr. Sansbury to present the valedictory award of the Spartanburg County Foundation to the valedictorian of our class of 1988, Robert Allen Scott. Robert, will you please come forward?
Congratulations. You can set these inside the podium while you speak.
The past, present, and future are relative terms. For a time while you come to terms with your high school graduation, however, these words somehow lose their relativistic qualities and become entirely absolute in nature. Yesterday seems as far in the past as does the first day of elementary school, and tomorrow seems as far away as retirement. The playmate who moved out of your neighborhood when you were 6 is sadly indiscernible from the classmate sitting next to you at graduation. As long as you know you're going to be back in the halls at school next year, the past, present, and future are one. Each depends on the others. It's a very comforting situation, but graduation destroys that all too fragile world of illusion. The past is gone, the future is right around the corner, and the present is now. Your life of unity is suddenly thrust into the realm of the schismatic. The immediate reaction is one of sadness and sobriety, but the very fleeting nature of our newly defined present suggests its importance. To mourn the loss of friends, of an entire way of life, is natural, understandable, and certainly even good. But to do so other than constructively is a waste. You must use the emotion you feel to fight the system. You can't accept what is happening just because that's the way it's supposed to be. You have to try to hold on. Admittedly, you'll probably fail. The process is perhaps even impossible to stop. But if you don't try to stop it, sadness you feel now will become regret. With sadness, there is hope. With regret, there is no hope. Now is the time to see to it that the future is not all that different than the past. Yet logic dictates that if the past, present, and future have now become separate and distinguishable entities, then the future must be somehow different as well than the past. An inherent knowledge of this fact accounts for the sadness I've spoken of. But how will the future be so different than the past? For about 18 years,
the happiness and well-being of each of us who is graduating has been, at least to some degree, externally secured. If we meet standards set by our parents and teachers, we are somehow rewarded. If we fall short of those standards, we are caused to regret it. Control of our lives lies not in our own hands, but in those of others. Things will change, however. Our lives will be directed from within rather than from without. We will determine our own states of happiness and will be free even to decide what should make us happy. This state of affairs, however, is as scary and uncertain as it is appealing. With the freedom to choose comes the freedom to choose poorly. Security is sacrificed for this freedom. But the experiences of the high school years make it much less likely that we will choose poorly. Our characters are a synthesis of those we have encountered directly or indirectly in our lifetimes, with a little or a lot of our own natures mixed in. We are well prepared for whatever we must confront. And for this fact, we owe love and thanks to our parents, our teachers, our friends, and to one another. The time has come, however, to take the training wheels off. If you will recall, I began by talking about time in the abstract. I suggested that the unity of time which comes with relativity is gone. However, I think it is now clear that the past is not gone, and that the future does indeed depend on the past, no matter how far removed from it you become. Time loses only symmetry and not unity for the high school graduate. Incredible external changes will occur, sadly abrupt and arbitrary in nature, but smooth and dependent, but not necessarily conspicuous internal changes have taken place in preparation for those external changes. I think that's comforting.
The Headmaster's Award began years ago as a result of the generosity of Mrs. Roger Milliken. Mrs. Milliken suggested that the headmaster honor that student whose kindness, courtesy, thoughtfulness, and cooperation make life easier and more pleasant for everyone at school. Each year, the faculty selects the candidates for the Headmaster's Award, and this year the faculty has selected a woman who has exemplified these traits in every activity, whether it was athletic or academic or extracurricular. The Headmaster Award this year goes to Caroline Hall. Will she please come forward?
Congratulations, Caroline. That's terrific.
The first headmaster of the school, Harry J. Gubleski, established the Gubleski Cup as an award for outstanding leadership. The young man who receives this award this morning is an outstanding leader. As president of the student body, he has articulated the feelings and desires of his constituents. He is willing to cooperate, listen, and solicit advice. The faculty and administration present the Gubleski Cup for creative leadership to Eric Faust.
Super job. Congratulations, Eric.
The members of the class of 1988 who are graduating cum laude are Meredith Barrett, Kevin Cantrell, Catherine Hall, Robert Scott, James Skinner, and Ellen Wells. Mr. White, I am pleased to report that the class of 1988 has successfully completed the requirements for graduation from the Spartanburg Day School.
Robin Denise Baker.
Meredith Renee Barrett. Congratulations, Meredith. Christina Aida Blanco. Congratulations, Christina. Congratulations. Amy Elizabeth Birch. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kevin Michael Cantrell. Congratulations, Kevin. Congratulations. Jennifer Lynn Cecil. Congratulations, Jennifer. Congratulations. Loretta Bernice Davis. Congratulations, Laura. Jill Ann Dorchek. Congratulations, Jill. Ged Michael Falstick. Okay, congratulations. Charles Dervin Fogarty. Congratulations, Charles. Gene Eric Faust. Eric, congratulations. Eric, Troy Augustus Gardner. Congratulations. Good. Congratulations. Eleanor Caroline Hall. Congratulations. Catherine Joyce Hall.
Catherine, congratulations.
Ellison Workman Hayes.
So congratulations.
John Hunter Henderson.
Congratulations, Hunter.
Richard Ray Hughes, Jr.
Congratulations, Richard.
Elizabeth Dawn Johnson.
Don, congratulations.
Elizabeth DeShiel Manning.
Congratulations, Betsy.
Laura Elizabeth Nickham.
Congratulations.
Lillian Nell Morton.
Congratulations.
David William Pratt.
Dave, congratulations. Thank you.
Kara Marie Roseman.
Chair, congratulations.
Robert Allen Scott.
Congratulations, Ron.
William James Shapiro.
Congratulations, Bill.
James Lister Skinner VI.
Chair, congratulations.
Von Seal Eliza Stoyer.
Congratulations.
Catherine Ellen Wells.
Congratulations, Ellen.
Michael Philip Wood.
Mike, congratulations.
It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning, the Reverend Talmadge B. Skinner, Jr. It is with special gratitude that I do so. As most of you are aware, Congresswoman Liz Patterson was scheduled to be here this morning, but an important vote in the House has kept her in Washington. She found out on Tuesday afternoon that she would not be able to attend. At that late date, I called Reverend Skinner, and he willingly agreed to present the commencement address. His tremendous help this morning is further underlined when I tell you that as chaplain of Wofford College, he is responsible for the 1,500 delegates attending the South Carolina Methodist Conference at Wofford this week. We appreciate beyond words Reverend Skinner's willingness to share time with us in the midst of his very busy schedule. However, from my experience, this is very typical of Reverend Skinner. He has a vital interest in young people. He has served as campus chaplain at the Spartanburg Methodist College and is now serving in that capacity at Wofford College. He serves on the board of directors of the Lions Club, the Mountain View Nursing Home, and the Bethlehem Center, among others. It is with great pleasure that I present Reverend Talmadge B. Skinner, Jr.
privilege to fill in for Liz Patterson. She's one of my favorite people in the whole world, and I'm happy to have this opportunity to stand in her place. I'm sure you would hear many more significant things from her than you would from me today. But I'd like to add my congratulations to this class. I know your parents are very proud of you, and that your future is very, very bright, and we wish for you the very, very best in the days and weeks and years to come. You know, this is obviously an outstanding class. Dr. Clark has told me where some of you are going to school, the things that you've accomplished here, and the hopes that they have for you in the future. Everyone is speculating about what you're going to be, what you're going to do, what kind of a career you're going to pursue, and what kind of success you're going to make. I would like to spend a few minutes today talking not about what you're going to be, but who you're going to be. Ultimately, that's a great deal more important than whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, or an Indian chief. Who you're going to be. As a device to make my point about this, I would like to share with you a story that I would predict a good many of you already know. It comes from a very fine novel by Jerzy Kosinski. It was made into a very good movie called Being There. The story of Being There is about a man by the name of Chance, who was a gardener. He was a gardener in the palatial mansion of a very wealthy man in New York City. Chance had lived his entire life and all of his existence out behind the walls of this rather significant garden. All that he did every day was to get out and dig around the plants and work with the flowers. And at night he would go into the little apartment they had for him, a private room just off the garden, where his meals were brought to him, and where he was outfitted with a huge color television set. Everything that Chance knew about the outside world, he learned from that television set. Now, Chance was a very nice-looking young man, very attractive, looks very intelligent. But the facts were that Chance could neither read nor write. Everything that he knew, he got from the tube, that we sometimes call the boob tube. Well, Chance was living there when the old man died, the man who owned the property and was his master. And when the folks came in to sort of settle up the estate, there were no heirs. They couldn't figure out how in the world Chance fitted in. He'd always been there. No one could recall when he came or where he came from. He'd always been in that place. And while they were trying to figure out what in the world they were going to do with Chance, he went upstairs. He put on one of the old man's best suits, happened to be about the same size, some of his fine shoes, selected a choice tie, packed some other clothes in a bag, and for the first time in his life, he walked out on the streets of New York. And you can imagine how he felt. He had never seen traffic before. He'd never experienced anything like that. Well, he tried to cross the street. The first thing that happened, he was run down by a car. Now, he wasn't run down by just any car. He was run down by a Rolls Royce. And the lady in the car and the chauffeur got out to see what in the world was wrong and how he was, and ran back and said, "Oh, sir, we're so sorry you're hurt. What in the world can we do to help you?" And finally got around to say, "What is your name?" And he said, "My name is Chance the gardener." Well, this lady, who happened to be named Mrs. Rand, thought that he said Chauncey Gardner, which sounded a lot more sophisticated than Chance the gardener. She said, "Oh, Mr. Gardner, we're so sorry we've harmed you." He said, "Won't you please just let us do something for you?" And after a long conversation, she said, "My husband is very ill, and we live in a very large house, and if you would just come home with us, in fact, the doctor lives in our house." My husband's a doctor. Now, folks, that's rich. When the doctor lives in, that's rich. So he said, "Well, I don't have anywhere else to go, so I might as well." So Chance the gardener, went home with Mrs. Rand, and she introduced him to her husband and put him in a very nice room, invited him to come to dinner. And once again, there was that inevitable television set. Now, Chance says little simple things that people think are significant, but there's nothing really to them. He keeps making little small remarks, and everyone thinks it's very, very bright. Well, after he's been there for several days, a helicopter lands in the Well, I'd call it the backyard, but I don't guess in a house like that you call it the backyard. But somewhere on the property, a helicopter lands, and the President of the United States comes to visit his old friend, Mr. Rand, who's one of the major industrialists in the country. The President is about to make a major economic speech, and he wants advice from Mr. Rand about what he should say. So Mr. Rand has invited Chauncey Gardner to come down and meet the President of the United States. And Chance comes down, and the President says, Mr. Gardner said, what do you think about the economy? And Chance says these very profound words. He says, in the garden, some plants live and some plants die. And the President says, wow, that's brilliant. That's just the brightest thing I've ever heard. He thinks he's espousing a laissez-faire policy of some sort, some kind of benign indifference or something like that. So that night on television, when the President makes his speech, he closes it by quoting his old friend, Mr. Chauncey Gardner, who says, in the garden, some plants live and some plants die. The press corps goes crazy. Who in the world is Chauncey Gardner, who's quoted by the President of the United States? The Russians are going wild. They don't know who in the world this man is who's such a confidant of the President. Well, to make a very long story short, it goes on and on. He's invited to be on the Johnny Carson show. He's invited to be a guest on all sorts of programs. Mrs. Rand to have a little scandal involved and a little sex involved, more or less falls in love with Chance, and he can't respond to her because everything he's ever seen has been on television. Obviously, this book was written sometime back. But the story comes to a rather frightening conclusion. In a smoke-filled room, the President is preparing to run again for office, and he's changing vice presidents. And the kingmakers are deciding who is the man who is the best candidate to be vice president of the United States. And the name being pushed around the most is the name of Chauncey Gardner, a man who can neither read nor write, a man who looks presidential, a man who looks intelligent, a man who says little simple things that people take to be intelligent, but really is absolutely nothing. Well, you're about to embark on life. You're going to do well. You're probably going to succeed financially. You're going to make an accomplishment in this world. You're going to be successful. But the important thing is to be authentic, have integrity, to know who you are, and to be that person. One of my favorite plays and movies was A Man for All Seasons, about Sir Thomas More. One of the lines in that play says, it's not so much that I believe it as it is that I believe it. Know who you are. Become a real person. And have integrity throughout all the days of your life, and you will truly be a success. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Amy Hatley, one of our second grade teachers, will lead us in singing the Alma Mater, the words of which are at the back of your program. Please remain standing after the Alma Mater for the benediction from Reverend Sting. Thank you.
Recognizing
Now may the Lord bless us and keep us and cause his face to shine upon us and give us peace. Amen.
Just go ahead and pick up the pace. It'll be all right. Super job.
Thank you very much.
Super job.
Thank you. These two were short.